Hello, everyone. Right, where were we with Bad Dad by David Walliams? Well, if you remember, Frank looks into the doorway and there's his dad in his racing car uniform. It was a red, white and blue boiler suit, which he'd not worn since the accident. Now the suit was all crumpled, grimy and tight on him, since his tummy had expanded. Frank knew his father was up to no good. He had to find out what. The next sound the boy heard was the front door opening. Clunk. As soon as he heard the front door closing, clunk, the boy leaped up from his lilo and made another little dummy of himself in case Auntie Flip poked her head around the door. He pushed his feet into his slippers in a rush, putting the left one on his right foot and the right one on his left. In the living room, Auntie Flip could be heard composing another poem. Looking at you would always make me dotty. Your eyes, your toes, even your little bottom. No, botty. This is genius. There wasn't time tonight to wait for the lady to go to the toilet. Frank decided he had to create a diversion. He crawled into the kitchen and turned on the tap. Splash! He then snuck himself behind the door just as Auntie Flip trundled into the room. "Most peculiar," said the lady, and she walked over to the sink to turn off the tap. "I hope this place isn't haunted. Ghosts give me the willies." Frank seized his moment. He rushed round the kitchen door, ran down the hallway, and with the sound of the tap still gushing, he opened the front door. Clunk. He closed the door behind him and peered over the walkway. From up there on the 99th floor, his father was now a little dot moving across the car park below. Frank leaped into his washing basket and flew down the stairs. Boom, 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 boom. Just as he reached the bottom, he saw his dad limp over to the Rolls Royce. The last one was white, but this one was silver. Was it the same car? The engine was running and the three men from the other night were inside. This time, Fingers was in the driving seat with little Mr. Big seated next to him. The mighty Thumbs was sitting in the back. He was so heavy that the car was tilting over on one side. "You're late!" snarled Mr. Big. "Sorry, Governor," replied Dad. "Get in, and you better do what we say, or there'll be trouble." Dad climbed in, and the Rolls Royce roared off. Vroom! Frank felt as if he'd been punched hard in the stomach. His dad had lied to him. He was going off to do no good with these bad men. He had to somehow stop his father before it was too late. But he had a problem. How on earth was he going to be able to follow a car on foot? He wasn't a fast runner as it was. Frank spotted a discarded shopping trolley upturned on the grass. He righted it, and he ran alongside it as if it was a toboggan, before leaping in and whiz! By some miracle, this shopping trolley was the one shopping trolley in the world that didn't have wonky wheels. It sped along the road, passing an old deer chugging along in a Morris Minor. Frank seized his chance and held on to the side of the car, whizzing down the road now. The Rolls-Royce was just a few cars ahead. The traffic lights turned red, and all the cars slowed down to stop. Frank pushed away from the Morris Minor so he could catch up with the Rolls-Royce. So as not to be seen, he ducked down his head. He grabbed onto the boot handle of the Rolls-Royce just as the light turned green. Then the car zoomed off, and so did Frank. Night was falling, and after a few minutes the Rolls-Royce turned off into an industrial estate. The road became bumpy, and as the boy was thrown up and down in his trolley, plump, plump, plump. As he could sense the rolls were slowing down to stop, Frank let go of the car. Without any brakes, the shopping trolley trundled off at speed. The front wheels hit the pavement and the trolley did a somersault. Whiz! Frank crash-landed into a hedge. Doosh! He was now caged in an upside-down shopping trolley. He pushed it upwards, untangled his pyjamas from the branches of the bush, and hid behind a burnt-out old burger van. Frank watched as the four men got out of the Rolls-Royce and looked around. As it was a Saturday night, the industrial estate was empty of people. Rusty old garage doors squeaked open, and the three men disappeared inside. It was that magical sound again. Out zoomed the yellow Mini, coming to a stop a centimetre from big Mr. Big's foot. Very clever, Gilbert, snarled the crime boss. So this heap of junk is the getaway car? Trust me, Mr. Big, replied Dad. Her name is Queenie. I rebuilt her with my own hands. She is the greatest racing car in the world. Frank couldn't believe that his father had put Queenie back together and not told him. More secrets, more lies. The boy guessed that the coat of yellow paint was to disguise her. Queenie was a one-off. A Mini with a Union Jack painted on her would be a dead giveaway to the police. After a short while, the two henchmen emerged from the garage. Both were holding iron bars and wearing what looked like ladies' tights over their heads. Neither fingers nor thumbs were what you might call handsome. But now, with their faces all squished up and down by the tights, they looked like monsters of the deep. Frank desperately needed to talk to his father alone. He had to persuade him to stop this madness. First, he needed to create a distraction. So, next to Frank's foot was a crushed-up drink can. The boy picked it up and threw it high into the air, thinking it would land by Mr. Big's feet. However, he misjudged his throw, and instead, it landed on Mr. Big's head. Boink! Ow! Screamed the crime boss. We're under attack! This was a much bigger distraction than Frank had intended. Fingers and thumbs immediately started rushing around, wielding their iron bars as if going into battle. They whacked everything in sight, bushes, bins, even the burnt-out burger van, in an effort to flush out whoever had hurt their glorious leader. Frank dashed under the ground on all fours. In the confusion, he managed to scuttle over to the back of the Mini and climbed into the boot. The boy squashed himself inside the small space and shut the door. click. Then he kept as still and as quiet as possible so that he could listen to what was being said.
"We can't find anyone, Governor,"
began Fingers.
We've searched everywhere,"
added Thumbs.
"They have to be hiding here somewhere," barked Mr. Pig.
"Maybe it was a rat,"
guessed Thumbs.
"A rat? Picked up a drink can and threw it at me?"
"Oh, a big rat, Governor. Yeah, one of them super rats."
"It landed on my head, you imbecile!"
All a rat? He could have been riding on the back of a pigeon."
"Just go," said Mr. Big, "and bring me back the booty, or there will be trouble."
"Right you are, Governor,"
replied Fingers. The door of the Mini opened and closed, and Frank could feel the car sink a little as the two henchmen got inside. The car's engine revved up, and the back wheel screeched. Then she lurched forward at a terrific speed. Frank was immediately slammed against the door of the boot as Queenie raced off into the night. Well, we'll have to see what happens next time. Where they're going. What are they going to do? Interesting questions. Well, I hope you're all well, and we'll see you very soon for the next exciting episode of Bad Dad by David Walliams. Bye-bye for now.